Hey, what's up, baseball fans? Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and tonight we are going to take a first look at a new cards and dice baseball game that is on the way to me. I actually ordered it last Thursday. Expect it toward the end of next week or over the weekend. And when you order the printed cards, you actually get a PDF file. So I cut out a couple of teams from the PDF file, and we're going to play a game from my favorite era of baseball, the dead ball era. And actually, I did not print out the score sheet. I'm going to apologize in advance because Daisy is in here and she's going to go nuts when this prints. She does not like my printer for some reason. So this is again, this is a cards and dice game that I've noticed for a while, and have actually hadn't had much interest in purchasing until I saw Tony at Cards and Dice or Baseball TV, and also ID Jester play the game a few times, and realized that it was really a lot more detailed and in depth than I originally thought. And the card format is very simple. Just use two 1d6s and a 1d20, and the results primarily come off the cards. You do have to, now the one thing the game does have is a ton of charts, but I'm not a chart guy. It also comes with, you can order a deck of fast action cards. There's actually 4 different versions. They all have the same information on them in terms of plays and outcomes, but the numbering is mixed up on them to give some variety. So that kind of intrigued me. And with the fast action cards, and again, I don't have those since you're coming with the print order, but you can, you can basically get most of your results straight off the cards, and then for out and advancement, things like that, a flip of the fast action cards after the dice roll to resolve hit location and also runner advancement, which is pretty cool. The other thing, even though this does have a lot of charts, and again, not a chart guy, but you can limit the number of charts you use depending on how detailed you want to play. And until I get the fast action cards, I'm basically just using this. There's several cards for runner advancement that break down situations and whatnot, but I'm just going to use the over easy runner advancement chart for outs and singles and doubles. And it's not going to give you the variety or detail of the others or what you'll get with the fast action cards, but it still does a very fine job of resolving plays. And like I said, not being someone who likes a lot of charts, I'm going to use that until the printed set and the fast action cards get here. The only other charts that I have for defensive checks as well. So I will primarily be using those once the printed set gets here. So what we're going to do for our initial game, and again, I'm gone through the rules and I've played a sample game, so this is my second game playing, and hopefully I get everything right. But I'm replaying a game from June 20th, 1908, between the Boston Red Sox and Chicago White Sox, a game that featured a pitching matchup between 2 Hall of Famers, Cy Young and Big Ed Walsh for the White Sox. Walsh, who actually won 40 games in 1908, and Young was at the tail end of course, a Hall of Fame great career. But these guys hooked up, and it was a 1-0 Chicago win. Walsh threw a 5-hitter, Young a 4-hitter. So the matchup you expect with 2 Hall of Famers. And we'll go through the game. And again, I'll be mostly making dice rolls and stop to, I guess, slow down and go over specific interaction. Now, the game, again, it's not a 50-50 game. And I think that's actually a misconception I had when I initially looked at it without really seeing how it plays out. You would think it's 50-50 based on results being blank on the hitter's card where you go to the pitcher's card. But there is a variance on these cards that make it really not a 50-50 game. It's not going to be the same every time. Sometimes a good pitcher will have a greater influence, and likewise a bad hitter or a good hitter could have a greater influence as well. The first thing, and one thing I really like about the game, is you check the pitcher's stuff. So you'll see here there's 3 columns on the pitcher cards. You roll a bullpen session, and 1 to 6 they have great stuff, 7 to 14 average, 15 to 20 bad. So we'll do that right away. Walsh, and Walsh rolls a 16, so he is going with his C stuff tonight, which might make it hard for him to replicate the shutout he did in real life. And Cy Young will be going off his A column, so he's got his prime stuff going, and that should bode well for him. So we'll read Cy Young's results from this column and Walsh's from here. All right, so we're set to go. There is a ballpark factor that comes up on certain rolls, and you'll see here a roll of 46. You will use the 1d20 to reference the ballpark card for different results: foul outs, hits, and also doubles, and in some cases triples and home runs, not applicable here. And really that's it. It's pretty simple. You roll 2d6 and read them red first, white second to get a number. Reference the batter's card. If it's blank, you apply that same number to the pitcher's card, and then you use the 1d20 for splits or to resolve runner advancement or potential double plays when there's runners on base. So let's get started. Top of the first inning, and the Red Sox lineup is Jack Thoney in left field, Harry Lord at third, Amby McConnell at second, Doc Gessler in right, Denny Sullivan in center, Bob Unglob at first, Heine Wagner at short, Lou Krieger catching, and of course Cy Young on the hill. For the White Sox, the hitless wonders, not as bad as they were in 1906 when they won the World Series, but still anemic in terms of offensive punch. It's Patsy Doherty in left, Fielder Jones in center, Jake Atz at short, John Anderson in right, Jiggs Donahue at first, George Davis at second, Billy Sullivan behind the dish, Billy Purtell at third, and as mentioned, Big Ed Walsh on the mound. So here we go. So Jack Thoney leading it off for the Red Sox, and let me just make a minor adjustment to the cards here. All right, so 4-6, and that is going to be, and this says no park home run, meaning this batter cannot hit a home run off of the park card because he is a limited power hitter, and which is fine because Southside Grounds has no home runs available. So next thing you do will be look at a 3, and that is going to be for a right-handed batter. Will be a double all score. So Thoney starts off the game with a leadoff double based on the ballpark card. And again, Walsh with his less than average stuff could struggle today. 62, that's going to go to Walsh. Again, this is blank. Check the pitcher's card, 1 down. That's really it. It's pretty simple. And again, using, I guess, the more basic rules where you just use the over easy chart for base runner advancement and outs. You can play through a game fairly quick, and there are additional, more advanced charts to get as complex as you like, and then the fast action cards give a very diverse and add some more complexity as well. So, all right, 52, and 52, that is going to be a defensive check. Now, you see a KD check here, so what you will do is reference the 1d20, and if it is within this KD number under the appropriate column, it will be a strikeout. It is not. So we will go to the defensive chart, and you re-roll all 3 dice again. 52 is going to be an error chance in this column. So all 3 dice, and 14 is going to be a center field error and a potential error. All runners would advance 2 bases. You then check the 1d20 against the Chicago center fielder, which is Fielder Jones. His error rating is a 3, so he comes in, makes a nice play, bobbles it, and secures the catch for the second out. Back to second base goes Jack Thoney, and 2 down. Hey, what's up, Ken Castro? Yeah, dead ball. And first time at the table, second game I played with Fall Classic. This is actually a PDF file. I've got the printed set on the way, which I should get in about a week, but wanted to check the game out. So printed off the PDF cards, and I actually like it so far. Again, this is only my second game, but I like what I've seen thus far. So 2 down, and Doc Gessler, the Red Sox cleanup hitter, up to face Walsh, and 26. Against a right-handed, this is a split column here, against a right-handed thrower, that is going to be a single. And Walsh is a righty, so that will be a single. 18, you go to the runner advancement chart on single, and runners advance 2 bases. So we have our first run of the ball game, and the Red Sox jump off to a 1-0 lead. And again, with Ed Walsh suffering from poor stuff today, this could be the first of several runs. All right, back to Denny Sullivan and 22, and that is going to be a single on a roll of 1 to 5 or a strikeout. He's got a 9, and Walsh with his second strikeout of the inning. So you do have some splits that come into play here too. And it really is a remarkably simple game to play. And like I mentioned, you can add flavor and complexity by how many charts you choose to use or how you use the fast action cards. So heading to the bottom of the first inning, 1-0 Red Sox in front, and Patsy Doherty is going to lead it off, and he is going to draw a walk against Cy Young. And you see here this plus, that means it is a stolen base attempt after the walk. And you can play, there's several ways you can play that. The option I'm going to use is you adjust the runner's jump rating here. I'm going to roll for a jump, which he needs to get 10 or less, adjusted by Cy Young's arm. Cy Young has a weak arm. He's a right-handed pitcher, so that makes Doherty's jump rate 12. So you will first roll to see if you can get a jump. He cannot, so things will continue. True to dead ball and lay down a bunt with nobody out. So the way bunting works is you will roll 2 dice, and Fielder Jones has a sacrifice hit rating. I'm sorry. Looking at the wrong place. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Sacrifice hit rating of 5, which would mean he would be successful on a roll of 5 or less. So first thing you do is the red dice is within his range. The second die, however, is over his sacrifice hit range. That means it's going to be a fielder's choice. And that ball was fielded. I will use the white dice to determine the fielder. That was fielded by the pitcher. So it is a 1-6 put out of Doherty at second base and fielder's choice. For Fielder Jones, 1 down. Robert, 1908. And you just got Fall Classic Baseball, right, Rob? Yeah, you did. I watched the unboxing and commented on it. And I haven't got mine yet, obviously, but I cut out 2 teams of PDF so I could get a few practice games in while I wait. All right, so 5-3 to Jake Atz, the third place hitter for the White Sox, and 53. First of all, we will check for a possible strikeout, and Young with his good stuff is 1-4, so we will then go to the defensive chart. This will be a range check. You'll see 53 range, column 3. And 65, that is going to be a shortstop. Shortstop single to center field, and at short for the Red Sox with a range rating of 12 is Heine Wagner. 18, he's not going to get to that, so that squirts through into center field. Runner stops at second. There was a plus by on that result for a possible stolen base, but with second occupied, we are not going to exercise that. That brings up John Anderson, White Sox cleanup hitter, as they look to get back in this game. And 56, and 56 is going to be a blank, so we will go to Young's card again under the good stuff side, and that's a strikeout. So Cy Young, a huge strikeout there with runners on first and second. That brings up Jiggs Donahue, the White Sox first baseman and a member of that 1906 hitless wonder World Championship team, as many as these players still are. So 12, that is going to be an out. We will check 15 off the over easy chart, again, using the most basic charts until I get the fact cards. And that will be a 5-3 ground out. Side is retired. So the Sox get a walk and a hit, but they strand 2 as we head to the top of the second inning, 1-0. Boston in the lead. And we'll just start playing now. If something comes up unusual, I will slow down or stop to explain it. And Michael Peterson has joined us at the ballpark. Yes, sir. Dead ball, air ball. And my good buddy Al, Red Sox fan as well. Check out that good or that amazing channel. I think, Al, I think this is probably one of the only baseball games you don't have. So top of the second inning, and Bob Umglatt steps up to the plate, and 3-1. It's going to go to Walsh's card. And again, Walsh, with his poor stuff, is going to give up a leadoff single to start the second. Fatigue ratings for both of these pitchers, by the way, they can both face 36 batters. As in the dead ball area, you were expected to complete what you started. All right, Heine Wagner, out X. That means on a ground out, it would be a double play. 10 is the result off the over easy chart, and that is a line out. And 4, that is going to go to the second baseman. And runner gets back to first, so L4 on the put out there. 1 down. Walsh would have much rather had a grounder there, but he'll take the out. Lou Krieger, the weak-hitting Boston catcher up, hit 190 in 1908. And he's going to get a 32, and that's going to go to Walsh's card. And again, with Walsh and his bad stuff, that is going to be a double. So 16 on the double, and that is going to be 2 base advancements. So the Red Sox runners at second, third here in the second inning. Walsh struggling, which was rare for him in his 40-win 1908 season. Cy Young, the batter, with 1 down, runners at second and third. Potential bunting situation, but they're going to let him hit away. He is a just slightly above average bunter, so I don't want to take a chance there. And 25, that is going to be an out by Cy Young, and the infield is back early in the game here. It'll be a right field fly out, F or A runners on second and third advance. And at third base, Umglatt is an A runner, so he's going to come in and score the second run of the game. Lou Krieger will hold, and Cy Young has a sacrifice fly, RBI. Red Sox go up 2-0. And back to the top of the order, Jack Thoney, who led off the game with a single and scored in the first inning. Walsh looking to get out of this, and it's going to be a 46. We go to the park again and again against with a right-handed batter, and that's going to be a foul ball. Just missed a double, drove that down the line, and foul by about a foot. So Walsh, big sigh of relief, and that's going to be an out. That'll be a ground ball down to third. Long throw across the diamond, and side is retired. Nice play at third base by Billy Pertell, but the Red Sox get a couple more hits, plate another run. We head to the bottom of the second inning. It is 2-0 Boston up on top. Hey, Tony, welcome. I actually was blaming you for me ordering this game to start the stream. Second game I'm playing, and I'm playing with just the over easy charts, Tony, so I can get used to the mechanics. But so far, so good. And the first game I played, I really enjoyed. So bottom of the second inning, Cy Young facing the veteran George Davis. And that's going to be a 52. And again, we check for the strikeout, and it will be no strikeout, so we'll go to the defensive chart. And 52 will be an error check. And 5 and a 3, that is going to be a ball hit to the third baseman, and the roll is 9 at third base for the Red Sox. Harry Lord, and he has an error rating of 16, so that's going to bounce off his glove, and we have an E5. And the White Sox, runner to lead off the second inning, and we're going to play small ball again. Billy Sullivan is going to bunt. Sullivan got a sacrifice rating of, whoops, wrong dice. Got a sacrifice rating of 5, so he gets it down. And again, unsuccessful bunt. That'll be a fielder's choice. And that bunt goes to the catcher, picked up in front of home plate. Krieger fires down to second base, and Davis is retired on a fielder's choice. 2-6. So 1 down, and Pertell that actually was Sullivan. Sorry, Pertell is the batter now. 1 1 out. Sullivan takes his lead, and 3-4 going to Cy Young's card. Again, Young with his top-notch stuff. That's going to be an out, and 8 will be a fly out to shallow center field. Coming in to take that on the run is Denny Sullivan. 2 down brings up the pitcher spot. Big Ed Walsh, once described as the only man who could strut while standing still by a contemporary. So 2-3 to Walsh, and that is going to be a strikeout. So Cy Young gets him with the old licorice ball, and Walsh goes down swinging. So Cy is retired, and no hits, no runs, 1 error, 1 left. We head to the 3rd inning. Boston with a 2-0 lead. We'll just check in with the chat real quick. Pitcher's good. Hitters of that period. Yeah. It was really, I love the dead ball era. And pitchers, of course, did not throw. They didn't have to bear down like they do now, just because of the ball. By the end of the game, a lot of times you'd use 1 or 2 balls for the entire game, and they'd be stained and misshapen. So pitchers could get away with only bearing down when they absolutely needed to. Pitchers did, for the most, I think pitchers probably, there were quite a few that were decent hitters. Smokey Joe Wood, an example, was a top-notch pitcher for the Red Sox in his 1912 season. Was one of the best in history for a pitcher, but his arm went dead, and he actually went on to have a pretty good career in the outfield. I think he was a .292 career hitter. Another one would be Rube Dressler and Lefty O'Doul as well, who came along a bit later. So, yeah, pitchers, I think, overall hit better then than they do currently now. All right, so here we go, and top of the 3rd inning. So Harry Lord, the 3rd baseman, going to lead it off for the Red Sox, and 54, we're going to the 54 chart, and that is a specific chart, and with nobody on base, that will not be applicable. That is for wild pitches and crazy results. So reroll that, 35, and 35 will go to Walsh's card. And again, on the bad stuff category, he's still going to get an out there because he is still a Hall of Fame pitcher. Fly ball to right field. And coming in to put the squeeze on that's John Anderson, 1 down. Amby McConnell up. And the Red Sox 2nd baseman flew out to center his first time up today. And 42, we will again go to Walsh's card. That'll be a walk on a roll of 1-6, and it is not. Instead, that will be a line out. And that is shot right back to actually a foul pop-up. And catcher, possibly a strikeout. So we'll re-roll the 1D20. And odd will indeed be a strikeout. So hanging on to that is Billy Sullivan. And you can see, even though the cards look real simple, you still get a lot of variances and little nuanced things like that. And again, I'm using the easy out chart too, which is the, I guess, basic version of the game, if you want to call it that. Still a good variety. So 35, Dot Gessler, again, will go to Walsh's card. That'll be an out. Just missed a hit there, and that'll be a lazy fly ball into left field, and Patsy Doherty puts that away. So 3 up, 3 down. Walsh regains his footing here as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Red Sox holding a 2-0 lead. Am I playing by candlelight? My office is dimly lit. It's romantic, Tony. So here we go. 4-3, bottom of the 3rd inning. And Patsy Doherty leading it off against Cy Young, and 43 is going to go to Young's card. And again, with his good stuff, that is going to be an out for sure. And it's a ground ball down to 3rd. So 5-3 on the put out there as Lord takes it across the diamond to Unglop. I love saying that name. Brings up Fielder Jones, 1 down. Young kicks, delivers, and 62 back to Young's card. Swing and a miss, strikeout. So Cy, his 3rd strikeout in as many innings, and Jake Atz will be the batter. Atz singled his first time up. Young gets a sign and kicks, delivers, 55, and that's going to be a single right back up the middle, and Atz is going to now try and steal. So his jump rating is an 8, boosted to 10 because Young is horrible at holding him on, and he'll be going. No adjustment to his success rate. It's got to be 9 or less, and he's in there. Just gets in under the tag. So back in the dead ball era, 50% base stealers were still sent. And you'll look at stats like Connie Mack's team. He used to run a lot, and very rarely did his team steal it more than like a 54 to 56% success rating. So really, in the grand scheme of things, not really worth the risk, because John Anderson steps up, runner in scoring position. And Anderson, 33, and that is going to be a single. 14, runner on second base. And runner from second scores, and the White Sox are on the board, and Anderson is going to have a steal attempt as well as he drives that into the gap. So coming in to score is Atz and Anderson. White Sox look like running was part of the game plan today, 12 or less to get a jump. He does not get a jump, however. And there is a pickoff rule, and 20 probably comes into play there, but I haven't read up on that, so we will leave that be. 2 down, runner on first base for Jiggs Donahue. And 65, and you'll see off Donahue's card, off the pitcher's card, if this was blank, that could be a potential home run, but for Donahue, that is going to be a straight out. And again, that's where some of the variants, the splits come into play. So 11 on that. That'll be a ground ball back to Young, and he stabs out, whips it over to first base, and the White Sox are retired, but they get up a couple of hits and get on the scoreboard. It's 2-1 heading into the 4th inning. Usually, Tony, you don't print these cards out. You just order the print set, correct? If I remember correct. I know Robert does for sure, and I prefer doing that as well over printing and cutting. Denny Sullivan leading it off against Ed Walsh to start the 4th inning here, and 31. 31 will go to Walsh's card, and again, with terrible stuff, that's definitely going to be a single. Walsh, 31 is generally a hit on all pitchers' cards, no matter how good they are. So Sullivan starts out the 4th, and that is hit number 5 for the Red Sox. Spitball not breaking for Walsh, and 26 against a left-handed pitcher. That will be a single, but Walsh is not, so instead that'll be an out. And 12, that'll be a pop-up, and that's ranging over into shallow left field. Going back to take that in, over-the-shoulder catch is Jake Atz. And 1 down with Heine Wagner coming up. Wagner, the shortstop, lined out to second base, absolutely tore the cover off it in the second inning. Fortunately, right at a fielder, and 41. Again, going to Walsh's card, and that's going to be a base on balls, so runners on first and second now. And again, you see the difference there between good, average, and bad stuff. That would have been an out if Walsh had his A stuff, but his C stuff, that is a walk. So that brings up the weak-hitting Lou Krieger. And with 1 down, Krieger's going to play a little small ball as well. Krieger, sacrifice hit rating of 5, and he's going to lay down a successful bunt. And he hits that back to the pitcher, and Walsh only plays to first base. So moving over to second and third, respectively, are Sullivan and Wagner. 1-3 on the putout, and a sacrifice hit for Krieger. I don't know how valuable that's going to be with the pitcher up next, but there are 2 runners in scoring position, and Cy Young, a chance to help his own cause. 35 going to Walsh's card, and again with bad stuff, just missed a hit, and instead that's going to be a line out, and 5 right at the third baseman. So Young hit that hard, but right to the White Sox third baseman Pertel, who makes a play. And the Red Sox get a hit and a walk, leave 2 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is 2-1, Red Sox over the White Sox. Hey, what's up, Utah Mike? How are you? I don't know, what is it? You've missed. This is the 3rd bunt of the game already. It's 1908, buddy. And Bob's Tabletop Sports joined us at the ballpark. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about the game afterwards. I didn't think it was very in depth when I first saw it, and really after watching videos by Tony, again on Cards and Dice TV and also ID Jester. It really turns out it's a lot more involved than it would appear at first glance. Very simple mechanics and using, again, tons of charts, but you can bypass the charts by picking up one of the fast action decks, and that makes things flow really nice. Game flows nice. It's got good mechanics between pitcher and batter. Some variances, of course. I really like the stuff rolls. And yeah, plays a good game of baseball. So I was very surprised as I learned more about it, and I ordered it, and after playing a couple of games, no regrets at all at this point. So we are bottom of the fourth inning. It's going to be George Davis, Billy Sullivan, and Billy Pertell against Cy Young. And here we go. 6-1 off of Cy Young's card. And Young, strikeout number 4 for the man who will have a trophy named after him in the future. 4-3 as Billy Sullivan steps in, and 4-3 is going to go off of Young's card as well. And Young with his A stuff, that's going to be an out. And that's going to be a fly ball into shallow right field. Coming in to take that underhand is Doc Gessler. And Billy Pertell up as Young on the verge of a 3-up, 3-down inning. What I really like about this game is pretty much every single at bat for the most part is resolved with a single dice roll, only 3 dice, which is really cool. That's an out. Excuse me, and 13. That's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop, and Heine Wagner sidearms out across the diamond. 3-up, 3-down go the Sox. We're heading to the 5th inning, still 2-1, Boston in the lead. And Walsh, despite not having his A stuff tonight, has settled down, and he's battling as 5th inning gets underway. Back to the top of the order for the Sox, and Thoney, who is 1 for 2, a double and a run scored, and Walsh, 25 and 25. That's going to be an out, and ground ball right back to Walsh. So 1 quick out here to start the 5th. 1-3 on the putout. Brings up Harry Lord, the third baseman for the Red Sox. Lord is struck out, thrown out to right field. Here comes a pitch, 55, and he's going to drive this over the shortstop's head into left field, a hard single, and that's going to be a single plus, so he's going to be looking to steal. And again, dead ball era, very common. So Walsh has a strong arm, so no adjustment to the jump. It's got to be 8 or less for Lord to go, and Lord is going. No adjustment, an average arm catching for Sullivan. So 11 or less, he's safe. Here comes the throw, and no, gun down. So coming up firing is the White Sox catcher, Billy Sullivan. Pegs a perfect throw down to second base. So 2 down now for Amby McConnell. I really do like the stolen base system, too. There's like 3 different ways you can do it, depending on how involved you want to be, and I use the auto steal system with the plus, but I still roll to make sure they get a successful jump instead of just stealing every time there's a plus. So yeah, they're really flexible there. 24, and that's going to be a hit by pitch on a roll of 14 or less. Now, one thing too, the pitchers have an adjustment to that. Walsh is a -3, but that's not going to be enough as he plunks McConnell. So McConnell heads down to first after taking a Walsh spitball in the ribs. 2 down for Doc Gessler. And the cleanup hitter has a single and an RBI back in the first inning, 1-4, and that's going to be an out. Would have been a potential double play if the situation called for that. Instead, that is going to be a line drive, and that is going to go straight to the second baseman, so sides are tired. And the Red Sox get a hit, leave 1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Still 2-1, Boston over Chicago. And Cy Young, working on a 3-hitter thus far, will face Walsh, and then back to the top of the order. And 33, Walsh, and most batters that would have been a hit, but with the pitcher up, that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. Walsh had a good cut at that. But easy ground ball handled by McConnell, and 1 down for Patsy Doherty. And here we go, 4-4, top of the order, Patsy Doherty, and Doherty drives a single back up the middle. So the first 2 White Sox batters get good wood on the ball, and that's going to be another stolen base attempt. The Sox are running wild on Young, and it's got to be 12 or less for a jump. Gets the jump easily, And Doherty is a great base stealer, 16 or less. Here comes a throw. Whoa! And coming up firing is Krieger, and a perfect peg to second base. Doherty with a great jump, but was still beaten by the throw, so 2 down. And that brings up fielder Jones. So the Sox playing small ball to the hilt, and it backfires that time as that's a pop-up, and that is drifting over towards the first base dugout. And there to glove that for the third and final out of the inning is Bob Unglap, and the White Sox retired. 1 hit. No runs, nobody left as we head to the 6th inning, 2-1. Boston in the lead. Let's just check up on the chat. All right, a printer. Yeah, my printer wouldn't do that either. That's why I only printed 2 teams. Michael Peterson, watching your old Glory Days boxing, also reading the rules. Everyone has. Yeah, it's a really great community there too. The Facebook page and the Delphi community. If I don't get to that, they'll step in and answer for sure. Tony says nobody likes PDF. I agree. I don't mind it for minor things, but definitely not printing out 1,000 cards. Dave Gardner's got his hockey going, and yeah, and Bob, that's with this era of cards too. So much running in the dead ball era, so there's a lot of excitement. I'm trying to play realistic with the bunts too to what they would do. And it really is. I love dead ball. And apparently, from what Robert says, the designer's working on 1912 next too, which would be really exciting. That's kind of an under. I don't know of any series outside of APA that have 1912 out. And there was a great World Series that year between the Giants and Red Sox. I'm actually reading the book on that World Series, which is also very good. And yeah, 1919 is definitely on my to-get list, too. I want to replay that World Series, and I know you do as well. And Bears Den, welcome to the ballpark, buddy. I'm sure, yeah, I mean, I know 1912 is next, but I'm sure he's going to fill in the dead ball season. They just take a little bit longer to rate due to the scarcity of some data. But top of the 6th inning, and Walsh is going to face Denny Sullivan, and 21 to start the inning, and that is going to be an out. 8 on the easy out chart, and it's going to be a lazy fly ball into center field, which Patsy Doherty takes care of. 2 hands that due to the small and unstable glove. Bob Unglob. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he's not around to be offended, so who cares? 26, that's going to be an out, and 13 is going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. And taking care of that in the hole is Atz. Whips it across the diamond. 2 quick outs here in the top of the 6th inning for the Red Sox. That brings up Heine Wagner. And the Red Sox shortstop has lined out and walked. And 55, he's going to get a hold of this and loop that into center field for a 2-out single. And again, the plus. So let's see. Walsh, no adjustment to the jump rating. It's got to be 7 or less. And 7, Wagner goes. 12 or less to be safe, and he's in there easily as double clutching the throw is Sullivan. So the running Red Sox with a runner in scoring position now for the light hitting the banjo bat of Lou Krieger, 190 hitter, a 1908. Here comes a pitch. And 14, of course, that is going to be an out. And that will be a fly ball into left field. Going back a few steps to pull that in is the left fielder, Doherty. Actually, Jones is in center, so Doherty makes that play. And Side is retired. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 1 left. As we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, 2/3 of the way through, and it's Boston clinging to a 2-1 lead. And here we go. Atz to face Cy Young, and 16 will be an out. As Atz grounds that down to third base, and a nice backhand play by Harry Lord, sets his feet, makes the long throw, and Atz is retired for the first out. Brings up John Anderson. Anderson, a versatile. He was the dead ball version of a utility player, played 4 different positions for the Sox that year. Solid player, and 65, that's going to be an auto out, and 16 will be a ground ball down to short. So Young has the sinker working with all those stains and juices and nicks on the ball. 2 ground outs to start the 6th. And Jiggs Donahue steps up. And 61 going to Young's card. Swing and a miss. And Donahue out in front of that. So 3 up, 3 down as we are through 6 innings. Boston leads us 2-1 and heading into the 7th inning. Unfortunately, 2004 happened. I wish it had still not happened. Okay, my game is at 2:30 a.m. Bitches, the late, late, late show. Who's playing, Tony? And here we go. Cy Young to lead off the 7th against Walsh, and 16 is going to be an out. It's going to be a ground ball down to first base, and plucking that and taking it himself is Donahue. 3 unassisted to start the 7th inning, and back to the top of the order, Jack Thoney. 1 for 3 today with a run scored. Walsh kicks, delivers, and 35, even on the bad column, that'll be an out, and 5 will be a ground ball down to third. So 5-3 on the putout. Purtell with a fine defensive gem brings up Harry Lord. And 66, and I just realized there is no 66 on these cards. I take it that is probably a rare play, and I haven't read about that, so we're just going to – oh, never mind. 67. I'm losing it. That is going to be a split check. Sorry, guys. 13, that's going to be a triple. So Lord laces that into the expansive gap and running around the bases, head first slide into third, and he is safe. A momentary memory lapse that all doubles are hits up here. Like I said, second time playing the game. So a 2-out shot puts a runner on third for Ambie McConnell. And 1 and a 2, and Walsh is going to extricate himself from this as that's a ground ball down to shortstop. Only 1 error so far in this game, which belies the usual fielding of the dead ball error. But Side is retired, and stranded on third is Lord as we head to the 7th inning stretch. Boston up 2-1. That A's team must be fun. Are you doing okay? Your 1980 project, awesome. 1980 is a great season. I've got that in inside pitch. I really enjoy, especially the A's with Ricky Henderson. So 44, George Davis against Young, and that is going to be a 1-14 single, otherwise a walk. So this has the double stars. So that means Davis, if he so chooses, can attempt to steal both second and third. Let's see if he can get a jump against Young first. He needs 11 or less, and he's got the jump there. And 11 to be safe, and 19, no way. Coming up throwing again is Sullivan. I'm sorry, Krieger, and he's gunned down. So second White Sox runner that has been thrown out today trying to steal. They also have a couple of successful stolen bases. They're trying to run wild. That brings up Billy Sullivan, the catcher. 1 down, and 11, normally with a good hitter, but these are the hitless wonders, so that's going to be an out. And it's going to be a ground ball right back to Young. So easy toss over to first base. 2 down for Billy Purtell. And the White Sox third baseman has played well in the field. He has a ground out and a fly out at the plate. And he's going to be retired again. That's going to be a ground ball down to third. And charging in to take that is Lord. With no errors, nobody left after that ill-advised steal attempt by Dave. Inning. Still 2-1. All of our scoring took place in the first 3 innings as Walsh back on the hill to face Doc Gessler. And he's going to try and go the distance, as is Young. And 63, even with the bad stuff, that'll be a K on 1-16, which it is. So Gessler, ill-timed swing there, had a meatball, missed it. 1 down for Denny Sullivan. And Sullivan, again, not the best of hitters. That's going to be an out where it normally would be a hit, and that'll be a ground ball down to shortstop. So Jake Atz charges in, makes that play. 2 quick outs for Walsh here in the top of the 8th inning. And that brings up Bob Unglob. And Unglob today is 1 for 3. He's got a single and a run scored. Here comes the pitch. And 16, that's going to be another ground ball down to third base. And easy play for Patel. So 3 up, 3 down. Go the Red Sox in the 8th as we head to the bottom of the frame. It's going to be the pitcher, and normally the pinch hit or pitcher would be pinch hit for here, but this is 1908, and Ed Walsh, who appeared in 80 games that season. They're going to let him hit because he's settled down pitching-wise. So 6-3, and 6-3 going to Young's card is going to be a strikeout. In pretty much any other era, he would have been pulled for a pinch hitter, but trying to play it as they would have back then. So here we go. Patsy Doherty back to the top of the order, and 51. It's going to be a possible K chance, and Young with a good stuff. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout in a row. So Cy coming on strong here in the late innings. 2 strikeouts to start the 8th. That brings up Fielder Jones. And triple threes, 1 to 14 will be a single. 19 will be a walk, and that is the first base on balls Young is issued as Jones trots down to first base. So hoping for a little 2-out magic. Jake Atz steps in. Atz today has been the one potent threat in the Sox lineup. He is 2 for 3 with a stolen base and a run scored. Young gets a sign, kicks, delivers, 61, and Young strikes out the side with a walk to spare. So no hits, no runs, no errors, 1 left, and we are heading to the 9th inning. And the score has remained the same since inning number 3. It is 2-1, Boston ahead of Chicago. So it's going to be Heine, Wagner, Lou Krieger, and Cy Young. One thing I like, you mentioned names, Bob. One thing I like about the dead ball, they're very colorful names, and obviously a lot of them not politically correct. You got the nickname Heine if you were of Jewish descent. All Native Americans were called Chief. If you were deaf, you were called Dummy. So colorful names, but no names that would fly today at all, which is a good thing. So 42, Wagner leading off against Walsh, and Walsh 42. It's going to be a walk on a roll of 1 to 6. 19 will be an out, and it's going to be a fly ball into right field. Yeah, Walsh, after a rough start, he gave up 4 hits in the first 2 innings, only 4 hits since then. So keeping the Sox at bay as Lou Krieger steps up, and the Boston catcher is 1 for 2, double and a sacrifice bunt. 25 to Krieger, and Krieger is going to be an out. Ground ball down to second base, and making the play there is the veteran George Davis, 4-3 on the putout. And Cy Young will be the final batter for the Red Sox in this game, unless he gets a hit or the White Sox rally. And 32, and double on a roll of 1 to 18, 17, and Cy Young takes that opposite field and looking to help his own cause, chugging around into second base, and Young, who was rather portly at this stage in his career, huffing and puffing, but makes it in there. A very awkward and haphazard slide, but dusts himself off, and Jack Thoney looking to apply the dagger here, 36, and 36, that's going to be an out, however, and a line drive going to be hit straight at the shortstop, and jumping up to spear that is Atz. So Side is retired on a hard hit ball, 1 hit, no runs, no errors. And we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Red Sox clinging to a 2-1 lead. Cy Young looking for the complete game masterpiece. He's working on a 5-hitter. He threw a 4-hitter in this game in real life. So here we go, 13, and starts out the inning with a line drive. That's probably the one bad thing about the easy out chart, is that you get a disproportionate number of line drives, but that had to be a result in there, and that goes to first base. So again, that will be something that will be rectified once I get the printed set with the fast action cards. But apart from that, you can see you get a lot of fun little results. And if you want to use the more detailed charts that are, print those out, you definitely did. But again, I didn't want to print too much, just get enough to learn to play the game. So 42, Jiggs Donahue steps to the plate. And 42, Young with his top-notch stuff. He's going to record the out there, and that is a pop fly, and 2 is drifting into foul territory behind home plate. Going back to pull that in is Krieger. 2 hands that, so F2 on the putout, and the Sox are down to their final out, and up to the plate steps George Davis. And the wily veteran is singled, struck out, and popped out to third. Yeah, that's another thing too. Rest in peace, Phil Niekro. I loved watching that guy pitch. Hope for everybody who could not top 80 miles an hour with their fastball, but he had a great career for sure. So rest in peace, Nuxie. As Davis, 65, and that is going to do it. He grounds that down to second base, and McConnell, the easy throw there, and side is retired. So that is your ball game. We'll do our final line score here and then close with comments on the game. So for Boston, 2 runs on 9 hits, 1 error. For the White Sox, 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. Your final score in this game in real life, it was a 1-0 Chicago win, Walsh over Young. And in this one, Cy turns the tables. 2-1 Boston win in another fine pitchers duel. And again, Ed Walsh had his bad stuff and still had a fairly respectable outing, scattering 9 hits. But that is your ball game. Player of the game, it's got to go to Cy Young for the 5-hitter, as the Red Sox are victorious, which I know Al will like. So, yeah, so this game, like I said, second time playing it. Overall thoughts, and again, you weren't here at the start, Tony, but until I watched your video, I thought this was a really simplistic game, you know, almost really along the lines of basic strat, but watching your videos has shown it is not. And then the more I've, you know, learned the game and looked at what comes with fast action cards, a very detailed game. And as I mentioned, the only chart I used for runner advancement now was this over easy chart, which is the basic version of Fall Classic. But, you know, if that's all you want to use, you can use that, and you can make it as detailed and as complex as you want. And that's what I like about it. And I think the fast action cards are going to add a very nice element to the game. I use, you know, if you watch the payoff pitch games I play, I use fast action cards for runner advancement and defense and whatnot with payoff pitch. So I'm going to do the same thing here, roll the dice for the results, and fast action cards for all the window dressing, if you will. But yeah, very impressed. Game is very easy to play, very easy to learn. I probably made a mistake or two in this game, only the second one playing, as I mentioned, but very quick to pick up. I read through the rules a couple of times, went and printed the PDFs, which you will get if you order a printed season. He'll send you the PDF files for that season as well as the rule book. So and charts. So printed those out, and very, very impressed with how the game plays. I like the mechanics. I like the fact that I really love the variance and pitcher stuff. I know there were discussions on the Delphi forums that someone did a house rule where they mainly used the regular stuff and used this when the pitcher was fatigued, or you know, I forget when this was applied, but it wasn't very much. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, honestly. I think that you know, over the course of enough games, that balances out. So I think that's a nice little perk where you maybe have a less than average pitcher has the opportunity to get a good bullpen session and pitch above his head. And just like today, Walsh, you know, he wasn't hammered, but he struggled, gave up 9 hits, and a couple of them, I think there were 2 or 3 specifically, that if he had had his top-notch stuff would have been outs. That doubled it. Young hit in the last inning for sure. If he only had his average or good stuff, would have been an out. So those are little nuances that I like that the pitcher stuff or the bullpen session brings into play. There's little nuances on the card too. Usually with hitters, a good hitter, you'll get hits all the way through on the doubles. Here you see George Davis. He has a couple of outs there. And I like the home run adjustments. And here, if a player's not a good hitter, they don't even get a chance to get the home run off the pitcher's card. So yeah, very, very well thought out game. And it's very simple in its mechanics, but designed extremely well. So I think this is going to get a lot of play time on the table, along with inside pitch and payoff pitch, and absolutely zero regrets on the purchase. So Yeah, and that's I know you mentioned that when you did your opening, Robert, that this kind of has attributes of strat and inside pitch and payoff pitch too, and it really does. It takes little pieces of other games and kind of puts them in a very nice, easy to play package. And again, really looking forward to getting the fact cards. And you'll have to. I'll be interested in your opinion of that too, Robert, when you play it. I don't know if you plan on using the dice, rolling the dice, and then using the fat cards for the result, or if you're just going to use the straight fat cards. But, I would maybe suggest doing the dice rolling and then using the fat cards for the results to add the flavor. And I would be interested to hear your opinion on that once you roll a couple games. So, yeah, Tony, I printed the only charts I printed with the PDFs. I showed you the easy out charts. I printed the defense chart. And then just so I could remember and have it handy, since it's buried in the rule book, I printed the hit and run and the bunt chart. And that's it. And apart from the cards and everything else, I was able to, so again, you could print out 15 charts and use them all, or you could print out as little as 3 and just use those. And I think when I get the fact cards, probably the only chart I'll have to refer to on a regular basis is the defense chart and the bunt chart. Tony, do the defensive results, are they on the fat cards too? I believe they are. So I think really you can eliminate probably 90 to 95% of the chart lookup playing that way. And okay, Robert said, yeah, we'll play a hybrid. Yeah, Walsh pitched good tonight on his C column. He definitely was fine. A little shaky at times, but all right. And I like that too. The defensive sheet. I did print those out. I just I've got my own score sheet here where I just have to plug. It's Excel, and I plug the team's data, all the team's data in on another page, and I just import it so that the score sheet automatically populates all the ratings here. But if you just want to put names on the score sheet, another nice touch with the game, it comes with this team defensive chart. It's got all the ranges, all the arm ratings, the pitcher ratings, all that good stuff, and here for both Boston and Chicago. So you'll get that for every team. So you can keep those charts handy, tape them to the wall or whatever, so you don't have to document as much on the scorecards, which is pretty cool as well. So, all right. So Tony says all the results are off the fat cards, and yeah, with 4 special quick charts. Yeah. So again, the number of charts are kind of overwhelming when you open it. I know you looked at those, Robert, and you're like, oh shit, but you can really eliminate most of those. So I'm looking forward to that. And like I said, we're gonna do some kind of 1908 themed replay here. Probably do something in the National League, maybe a Christy Mathewson replay. I think that'd be fun. Replay all of Maddie's starts from 1908, including the infamous Merkel game. So that probably is what I'm leaning to now. So, hey guys, thank you to everyone for stopping in. I know you got a game coming up in a minute, Robert, and Tony, you've got the late night 1980 Fall Classic going. So thanks to Ken Castro, Robert, RJL 518. Check out that wonderful channel. Michael Peterson, thank you for stopping in and joining us. Al, Red Sox fan, of course. Hope you're doing well, my friend, and check out his great channel. Al, the best voice in the business. Tony at Cards and Dice TV, currently playing, as mentioned, the 1908 or 1980 A's or baseball season with an A's game feature tonight. And Utah Mike, Sports Time Machine, check out that wonderful channel as well. He does a lot of payoff pitch and strat, and also XOR, that great DOS-based 1980s football game, still holds up to this day. Bob's Tabletop Sports, check out that wonderful channel as well. And Bears Dan at 007, thank you for stopping by, my friend. And I think I caught everybody, so appreciate the support and hope you all have a great night and are having a great holiday season. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming. Until next time, guys, keep rolling for the fences, and we'll see you. Take care.